Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Tathastu ICS. My name is Ambika Sharma, and I will be taking your daily news analysis from the newspaper The Hindu. So let us discuss what all news we'll be covering today from the newspaper The Hindu. Before beginning this session, scan through this QR code to get the PDF of this session. Our first news is about Komagata Maru incident 1914. It is about the incident when a ship was hailing from Hong Kong to Canada. And what happened then? It was around 1914 that incident took place, and there were passengers, that is Indian passengers, that were from British India exactly, and it was Hindus and Sikhs, and more importantly Punjabis also. So that time they were not allowed to enter properly. So what they have seen is, because of this, at the background, Ghadar movement also played the role. So they have propaganda, like how this discrimination has been done. Okay, we'll see what movement have been taken place and more about this Komagata Maru incident plus Ghadar movement. Second news is about India's first green methanol plant to turn Kutch's most invasive weed into marine fuel. There is an invasive species that is being the one species which is not native to particular place and has come due to migration or something, or due to traveling, but this species is very much important, as they have found that because of those invasive weed species, it will be converting into marine fuel. Okay, so how this Kutch of Gujarat is being very much in the news today because of this green methanol, that is less use of fossil fuels, plus that will be an advantage for environment also, plus a greener environment. That is, we can say, green environment. Next news is about PIL, that is public interest litigation. Just wait a minute, let me check the pen. Okay. PIL, that is public interest litigation. And let me write it again. Public interest litigation, let me explain you like this only. Public interest litigation, there are possible chances that there is a misuse of this public interest litigation. And what do you mean by public interest litigation is? Anyone? Good evening, good evening. Public interest litigation generally means that we are doing something for public, and as we all know, Supreme Court, high courts, and especially judiciary is open to an individual with fundamental right of Article 32. But with this public interest litigation, anyone for the public interest, that means for NGOs or for human nature or for for environment, anyone can go and file its PIL, because due to its advantages and for improvement. For this PIL, we will understand and with this PIL, we will understand what misuse are being taken place, because this we will know public interest litigation, as we all know, this is for public interest. That means many people are involved here. Many people are involved. And because of this only, people are being now misusing it. Okay. Next news is about embers in the air. This news is about Nilgiri forest, that is in Tamil Nadu, and we will study how this poor management is being taken place in Tamil Nadu especially. And we will see wildfires that has been taken place. This is the only news that has been covered in this article because of this. And we will see how this poor management can be improved so that in the next year, due to summer season, that Nilgiri wildfire won't happen again. Or if it happens, then there should be some challenges ahead for it. Okay, let's come on to the first news now. What happened to Komagata Maru incident? Now we have seen what is that Komagata Maru incident. That is a Japanese ship that was hailing from Hong Kong towards Vancouver, that is British Columbia, and that were carrying 376 passengers. That means Sikhs were also included, Punjabis were also included, and 12 Hindus from Punjab, that is from British India, were included. Now the British subjects hoping to build new lives in Canada. So what was their main purpose of going from to Canada? That was to live a new better life. That means they wanted a better life, that they were suffering from Britishers quite, and now they were thinking that we have to move ahead for building our future, for building our children's future, so that we can live happily and peacefully. So what this incident says, that they were British subject hoping to build new life in Canada. What awaited them was a 2-month standoff in the harbor. But what happened again there in the ship, that they were not allowed, they were denied from that Canada's government, that they won't be allowing to enter in this country, and they would be sending back to their own origin country, that is British India. Now what had happened, they were treated brutally for till the 2 months, that they were not being able to allowed further extension. Now what happened is both anti-colonial movement and Canada's long reckoning with its own past. This is the future कि यहाँ पर they were trying to build that much of conversation, that much of life in Canada, and what that happened, they were not allowed and they were strictly denied from the Canada's government. Now a loyal, what and why was Punjabi central to events in ending up the voyages? Because in the background also, this is 1914 to 1913 scenario, and that time First World War was also in the background. That means Ghadar movement also. So they, because of this Ghadar movement, they have taken that propaganda from the Komagata Maru incident. That means यहाँ पर they were having that propaganda that they people who were stopped from the Canada's government were being treated illegally, were being treated immigrants, and were being treated as discriminatory objects, that they were not allowing. That means it is strictly a racial discrimination. Okay, so यहाँ पर we will see how this Punjab government, how this Punjab was central to its voyages. Okay, now if we talk about martial race, so they were brutally treated because of this discrimination, plus martial race on the basis of their caste. But the relationship was both lopsided and extractive. That means they were not having the properly solution for it. Now, rapid agricultural growth combined with easy credited a crisis of rural indebtedness and epidemics of malaria and plague in the early 1900s. So this was also the reason that people were migrating from this India to Canada. Because of this, we can say this immigration was taken place in early 1900s because of this epidemic, that is of malaria and plague. Okay, now among those who left were founders of the Ghadar. Now there were some people who were allowed to enter, and there were more and more people who were denied. But the people who are allowed to enter, that were Ghadar peoples. And why they were allowed, why some people only allowed, as they have that immigration certificate that their origins were especially from Canada. So they were giving that much of advantage that they can enter the country. But if we talk about more and more other behind people, so they were not allowed. So what they said is the people who were allowed, that were Ghadar movement people. Okay, now is the propaganda is they have tried that racial discrimination is being done. So this is the proper time for those that there was a racial discrimination among expatriate and Punjabis on the US West Coast. and dedicated to the armed overthrow of British rule in India. And till then, they had decided to overthrow the British rule from India. Now, the Komagata Maru voyage was frightened with the politics from the start, and that Komagata Maru incident, that the passengers that were allowed, they have got that, we can say they have got that propaganda that now they will be a party of one people, that is Ghadar movement plus Komagata Maru passengers. Okay, so they were having that particular party that they will be having on a same page. That means here, Ghadar activists were also active, boarded the ship in Yokohama, delivering lectures and distributing anti-colonial lectures that our racial discrimination is being done, and now they won't be a part of this British India. Now, what led to the standoff? Why Ghadar movement was in the was there? Because Ghadar movement, as we see, the leader was Lala Hardayal, if you remember. So, यहाँ पर they were organized by Gurdeep Singh, a Punjabi entrepreneur based in Singapore, who chartered the ship here specifically to challenge Canada's exclusionary law. So there were some laws due to which they were not allowed to enter. Okay, that means just consider this. अगर यहाँ से, this is our India, okay, and this is Canada here. So यहाँ पर they were allowed directly from one place to another place. So what they were allowing, what Canada government said, you are allowed only when you are allowed only when you are passing from one country to another country directly. If you are coming from any other country and then taking other traveling things, then you are entering into the country, then you are strictly not allowed. This is by Canada's government. Now, when the ship arrived at Vancouver's Burrard Inlet on May 23, so this was the time when it was allowed in 1914. So there were immigration officials there. That means Canada's government only, who said that you are not allowed in sailing proceedings. The local South Asian were also present, and here the British Columbia Court of Appeal anonymously upheld the discriminatory laws, that there are some discriminatory laws that are not allowed. Now on July 19, an armed police force of 150 men attempted to board the ship. The passengers fought them off. Okay, so there were passengers also mostly who could prove prior Canadian. That means the one who were from Canada, or they have the origin from Canada. So that people were allowed. Now what happened when the ship returned to India? So before this, many passengers were killed also, because the passengers who have come from that much of traveling, they have come far from this British India to Canada. How are these passengers will inhibit that speech that you are not allowed and you are not allowed to come? How are these discriminatory things can be happened? But they were refused, they were denied, and they were brutally tortured here. And finally, near Calcutta in late September, police tried to force the exhausted passengers onto train bound for Punjabis. And this is the discrimination because of these onboarding train to Punjabis, Sikhs and Hindus. And what happened when the ship returned to India is, the Ghadar movement surged in recruitment. The Ghadar movement was in the background, that discrimination has happened, and now we will overrule the British rule in India. Now, some members returned to Punjab in 1915 to attempt an armed uprising, which failed due to informers and mass arrests. So, dozens were there who were denied execution, and dozens were there who were allowed execution from the government. Now, but the movement martyrs became folklore. That means Canada was slow to acknowledge what it had done. Okay, so this was the news about Komagata Maru incident plus Ghadar movement. How Ghadar movement is involved. Look at this. I think we have covered all, but anything is left. First is journey to Canada. We have seen there in 1914, April 4, it was allowed for hoping to start a new life in Canada. Then they were denied entry and they were forced to return. First of all, they have traveled that much, but then they were forced to return to their origin place. Now, President India, that on reaching Bajbaj in Kolkata, September 29, 1914, there were clash broke out between British forces and the passengers And that time many were killed, many were brutally tortured, and many were executed. Okay. Here, Japanese ship charter by Gurdeep Singh, mostly remember it. Journey began in 1914 by Gurdeep Singh. Okay. Here, if we talk about the Ghadar movement, so there many MCQs can be asked directly or indirectly. So Ghadar movement, if we talk about, so it was started in 1913 in San Francisco in United States of America. And if we talk about the name, the Ghadar means rebellion or the mutiny. Discrimination was being done on racial discrimination. That means desire for India's independence. So what was the thing that was aim? That was the aim. That means overthrow the British rule. Now, key leaders, if we talk about, so first of all, Lala Hardayal was the key leader, and if we talk about Sohan Singh Bhagna, was first president of Ghadar party. Kartar Singh Sarma, that means young revolutionary and editor of the Ghadar newspaper. Fourth and last is Raj Bihari Bose, and he joined that in the later of the Ghadar movement. Ideologies, aspirations, objective, we have talked that why they were wanting, because just to overthrow the British rule and eliminate discrimination. Now, methods and activities. What were the methods and activities that they have launched? Ghadar newspaper also, that was being published in the weekly journal and in Urdu, in Punjabi, in Gujarati, in Hindi and in English. Propaganda was distributed from the revolutionary to each caste people and organized meeting among Indian diaspora. Recruitment were among Indian soldiers, and when they were returning to India, they have planned a coordinated, we can say, coordinated uprising so that they can meet that in World War I, 1914. So this was about Ghadar movement. Now, understood about this article? This is very much important. Go through it once again. Okay. Let's come on to the next article now. India's first green methanol plant to turn cuts most invasive weed into marine fuel. So there is an invasive weed. What do you mean by invasive weed? First of all, let me know. Invasive here means, okay, I'll write here. Invasive here means whenever a species is not native, like here if we talk about Prosopis juliflora, our species name is, here we will write Prosopis juliflora, and because of name only suggests that it is quite different from Indian perspective. That is the reason it is not a native for Gujarat. That is quite clear. So this is the only meaning, that whenever a particular species is not a native species and is being coming due to immigrations or something happen, that means Prosopis juliflora is being able to found here, and it is not native to particular state. But what we can have from this is, we have found this most fruitful for particular state and for especially green methanol, and we have seen this, it can quite be useful for our biodiversity. So there is a plant that has been ranked as one of 100 invasive species in the world and has for decades threatened biodiversity, that is in Kutch Bunny grasslands, may soon be harnessed for the production of green methanol and fuel for marine fuel. Okay, so this is the species we are talking about, and this, if we talk about the particular species, so where it is found in, it is known by many other names like Vilayati kikar in North India, Simai caruvelum in Tamil, and has ground out grasses over 1,000 kilometers in Kutch. The plant was first introduced, when was it first introduced? It was introduced in 1920 and to Green Delhi and by the Gujarat Forest Department in 1961 to halt the encroaching salt desert in the run. So we have seen that it was fruitful, and we have seen that it was very much important as per our methanol. And we talk about first green methanol. So we will see here that is more greener fuel. That means that will be important for our environment instead of using directly fossil fuels. Here, methanol is used as a fuel in shipping, often as a replacement to what is called bunker oil. Conventional methanol is produced from fossil fuels such as gas or coal gasification. Green methanol if we talk about, so it is from biogas or e-biomass. ओके सो यहाँ पर हमने देखा कि काफी इन्वायरमेंट के हिसाब से देयर इज अ स्ट्रक्चरली ऑर्गेनाइज्ड कि हाउ इट कैन बी इन्वायरमेंटली फ्रेंडली फॉर इट. Now the project sited at Deen Dayal port in Kandla produce 5 tons of methanol a day and is being built Pune based Thermex Energy. That means very much important if we talk about Thermex Energy. Okay, now we talk about the what are the advantages as per greenhouse gas effect is that means methanol made from renewable feedstock can cut a vessel of carbon dioxide emission that it can be absorbed properly, and nitrous oxide it can be absorbed properly up to 80% while eliminating sulfur oxides and particulate matter. Ankur Jain, if we talk about it, he is a scientist of it, and that is a company's role in the first stage of two-step process. And because it has that hydrogen process, it has that emission process, so it is very much important to use as per its greenhouse gases. Now, if we talk about Juliflora, it is the best feedstock because it is a hardwood, dense, and has a good energy profile. That means it has low in acids and high in basics. Okay. So this was all about green methanol plant that would be conducted in marine fuel due to green methanol. So let me know what are the green methanol and e-biomass. Anyone? This is exactly the same way. This is just an initiative to make this greener environment due to Thermex Energy also, and for emissions of the carbon dioxide and emissions of the nitrous oxide. Okay, because of this species only that is been talked about, Proposis juliflora. Now, if we talk about Prosopis juliflora, just go through it once. So, what are its static conversation is? It belongs to the Fabaceae family, and it is native to Mexico. First of all, Central America. Then it talks about Caribbean. Introduced globally, and it is known for semi-carubellum, that is Tamil, and Vilayati kikar in India. Okay. Introduced for soil stabilization, because of this soil हमारी stabilize रहती है, and it is found in arid region and is now a major invasive species. So this table is about defining its features. If we talk about hardiness, it is highly resilient, alkaline in nature, sandy in nature. If we talk about its growth habit, it is about grow as a shrub, that means up to we can say 10 to 11 meters. Now we talk about the root system. It is a deep tap root. It has a deep tap root so that it can it can come out more properly. Okay. Now if we talk about the reproduction, it produces massive filed pods, seed dispersal by livestock droppings, viable for decades. Okay, that means it can be used till decades because it has a very powerful we can say very powerful things that can be developed through this invasive species. Now, what is a green methanol? Again, we'll talk about a green methanol. It is a liquid fuel that is being produced by renewable energy, and that removes carbon dioxide emissions, nitrous oxide emissions. And if we talk about the emissions, so first of all is e-methanol, and second is biomethane. E-methanol की बात करेंगे, so it produces green hydrogen, especially from renewable electricity. And if we talk about biomethanol, so it is sometimes a gasification of biomass. That means structurally converting it, breaking it, and making it a use for agriculture purposes from other organic waste. Now, why it is important? Maritime decarbonization, so that that can be used for shipping fuel to meet its India's energy for gaseous alternative. And if we talk about environmental impact that it has, it reduces carbon dioxide emissions that we have talked many times, and up to 95% nearly eliminates sulfur oxide. That you all know, sulfur oxide is very much harmful for our body also and for our environment also. So it eliminates is structurally and significantly cuts nitrogen oxide emissions. Okay, versatility की बात करेंगे यहाँ पे. So it is beyond fuel. It serves as a sustainable chemical feedstock. As we all know, we have seen in previous slide only that it can be used till decades. So it is very much important and very much important to know that it can be used for industrial application, lowering the footprints, and we will talk about these carbon footprints and solving for solvents and for solubility also till decades, because it has that much of amount of energy that can consume. Okay, now this is covered. And students, this is especially for UPSC prelims. Mains aspect, I don't think it will cover, but as per this invasive species, it can be asked in prelims exam. Okay. Now, this article shows, this article was an editorial, and it has been talking about the misuse of public interest litigation. So, what do you mean by public interest litigation? First of all, let me know. Public interest litigation, that means it is whenever a person is trying to approach court, or whenever a person is trying to do better for other humans, or for, we can say, for environment, or we can say for anything that is not particularly only for individual. Okay, for individual we have high courts. For individual, from article 32, that is everyone has a fundamental right, we can go to directly Supreme Court also. But PIL, that means public interest litigation, was being developed just because so that people may be aware about environment also. If many of the people like NGOs are there, many NGOs are there, they are being applied that something is to be done by the next week, or for human welfare, or for environment welfare, or for animal welfare. So this is the way to go to the court directly, because of public interest litigation. That means they have that particular right, and they have that particular interest. That means for the benefit of others or a society as a whole. That means PIL has that advantage, giving to the people that they can do it individually, or they can do it with their own people, for the interest for society, for the interest of the people, and for the interest of the environment, or we can say for animals. Okay, where is PIL used? PIL used in High Courts of India and Supreme Courts of India, and PIL was introduced to make justice accessible to all. But this article is talking about the misuse of this. So, what are the misuse of it? Now, people are not considering for their whole society. For they are not being able to think about their animals that are being stray dogs, or stray pets, or stray animals, we can say. But they are misusing it on the behalf of these particular things. That means they are being misusing it directly. Here Anuj Bahurubania, and it is talking about Tanha Abdul Rahman. We won't consider this reading it all, but what is the overview of it is these are misusing it by their functionality, by taking other examples and directly approaching courts. So what are the disadvantage of it is there are overpending the work of high courts and overpending the work of Supreme Courts. Okay, so what we have to know about this stage is we just have to know that what PIL consists of, or we can say whenever a question being asked what is PIL being used is. So example can be corruption for misuse of power. Second is child labor or human rights violation. Think like this: is some people are being for the rights of these child labor or human rights violation, they are being approaching to courts, but the misuse of it is they are not approaching for real humankind or real child labor. They are approaching it for their benefits, that they would be having money, or the court will help them with the money, something that would be beneficial to those particular who are approaching the courts only. So this is the misuse of PIL, and it is being on a we can say on a very much high stage that it is being considered, and this debate has been happened due to these high courts and Supreme Courts. Okay. Now, key features of PIL is this is are being filed for public welfare and not for personal gain. Second is anyone can file PIL. Even a letter can be filed to a particular individual. Third is focus on fundamental right. It is being focused on the fundamental right that every human or every citizen has that right to know what PIL can be misused and how PIL can be used. Last is court can take action even on media reports. Okay. Now, the last news is embers in the air. Embers in the air, generally it is a news about a Tamil Nadu who has been in the wildfires, that is Nilgiri, a particular city. So let us read the article first. The Nilgiri district in Tamil Nadu and the adjoining forest divisions of Madurai, Coimbatore, road have been dealing with wildfire that escalated to being a crisis for assistant of Indian Air Force, and even so intensifier not Delhi and Paikara in the Nilgiri have been worst hit by significant blazes were also quoted from the Singara. So here they have said there is a poor management that is being here in the wildfires, and February to May is the fire season. This has been known by various past years, and till now no management had taken place. Like again in same thing will happen next year, and recently also we can say past year also this was happened. So why is the thing is happening again and again, and why the government was are not being able to fulfill its criteria? Now in April officially said that high heat and strong winds created a conductive invasive. Now what these are saying, pre-existing fire lines partly executed this season has been a breakthrough. Some lines burnt huxler and for longer in idea because of the accumulated biomass and invasive undergrowth. So what are these saying? This is a natural phenomena, and this is a natural heat that had been taken here, and because of this the fire was taken place. But this is not a particular scenario. We have, whenever a wildfire is there, you can connect it to Amazon forest. That time, or we can say even in the 3 years or in the 2 years, one or a lifetime, there is a we can say fire happened at Amazon forest. Same is the case here, but there is a difference. That means their management is very much strong, and that too they have taken care of. But here if we talk about Nilgiri in Tamil Nadu, they have not taken care of anything. So there is a poor management, no environment laws, and what more, there is no forest department, properly been balancing both properly, and now keeping other causes are fixed, a hotter drier summer, and even these authorities had begun ensuring animals access to water outside human settled areas. So this is the thing, that how can management can be happen again, how these can be properly done, and how these incident cannot take in place. So here Kerala forest staff began a controlled burn allegedly without coordinating miscreant deliberatory figure in the sever allegedly over the forest department. And here, while none of these cause is new, their influence this year with the hot summer is likely to have smoked this intense fire. So this is generally a basic idea that they are being suffering, and because of this humans, animals, and many stray dogs, or we can say stray animals, are being suffered here. So challenges should be taken place, precautions should be taken place, so that this should not happen again. And what we have to know about this is to take care of Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. That can be asked directly in prelims. That is our Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve. Okay, so this article was about wildfires. I think this is the last slide. Okay, just go through it. What are the key highlights? Wildfires in the Nilgiri district of Tamil Nadu and adjacent forest division, including Madumalai, Coimbatore, Erode, have escalated, requiring Indian Air Force assistance. And for this fire season, from February to April, we have seen this is a recurring event. That means again and again it is happening. Last year also it had happened, and in the next year also it will be happening. So this is through the high heat or strong winds, we can say, or we can say undergrowth of invasive something. Getting? So what is our contribution in that is we should be taking care that how these things can be done. That means there should be a proper management for these wildfires, and such as wood gathering by tribes people and grassland burning herders, non-accidental causes of the fire. So these are some things that can be done, that was done by people till today. Okay, so this is the thing that should be stopped permanently. Okay, so this is the article about Nilgiri's biosphere reserve. Okay, anything you want to ask? Can you wind up the session here? Okay, we'll meet you tomorrow. Till then, goodbye and keep revising.